All right, here we go. Test review unit number 9. I know it says unit 6, but that's because I changed the order around and stuff like that. So, hey, just go with it, okay? This is unit 9. All right, so let's look at the first set of problems. Shall we? Shall we? Okay, don't forget, when you see something like this and we're talking about ratios and proportions, I mean, obviously a lot of this is dealing with like cross multiplying, setting up ratios, so I'm not going to worry too much about those. But let's look at this type of problem here. The ratio of the measures of the angles 8, 3, 4. Add those up, and when you add those up, at 8x plus 3x plus 4x, that gives you 15x. So all I did was add those up. And then what do we know? We know triangles add up to 180, so I would add this up to 180, set that up, divide, and x is equal to is 12. Now, keep in mind you're not done there because you need to tell me, okay, 8x times 12 is 96, 3x times 12 is 36, and 4x times 12, I'll get there in a minute, is 48. Okay? So you need to make sure you show me all those, like if it says find the measures of the angle, so on and so forth. Okay, so here's one. The ratio of the measure of the sides is 9, 12, 5. So again, I would say 9 plus 12 is 21, and 21 plus 5 is 26. So I'd have 26x. The perimeter of the triangle is 130 feet, so I would say 130 divided by 26, and you get 5. And then from there, you could say 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 12, or let's try that again, 12 times 5 is 60. And then 5 times 5 is 25. And that would be it. Okay, so for these next ones, if I give you a very specific like this, figures, find the scale factor from this to this, then go ahead and do like the first one mentioned first on top. It's like here, 36 over what would go with the 36? 20. And then simplify that to get like say 9/5. If I don't give you something like that and just say find the scale factor, keep in mind new over old. Okay, that's what I prefer, which actually would reverse that. But the reason why I do something like that is because that way I could actually take like the 36 and multiply times that 5/9, and it would give me 20. But that's a whole different thing, and we'll worry about that. But more than likely on the test, I'll make sure it says this one to this one. So notice this one says figure B to figure A. So here I would do, say, 9 over 12. And that would give me 3/4. Now, how did I know it was this one? Well, this is the smallest side here. This is the smallest side here. So obviously corresponding the small ones have to go with each other. That's what I did. Okay, you could have picked any number and it would have been okay. Okay, so for this next one, what would I have done? There's different ways I could have set this up. More than likely, I would have said something like 25 over 4x minus 23 is equal to, let's see here, 20 over 2x plus 2. You could have done it like that. You could have also done like, say, 25 over 20 is equal to 4x minus 23 equals 2x plus 2. There's, like I said, there's different ways to set it up. This way you're kind of doing like what we might be doing later, so I could see how you would want to do it this way. But either way, you'll still get the same thing. So like when I cross multiply and divide, I've got here 80x minus 0, 6, 460. And then I've got 50x plus 50. Okay, variables to the left, numbers to the right. That gives me 30x is equal to 460 plus 50, 510, and then divide, and I should get 17. And that's it. Okay, on this next one, let's say 28 over x plus 7. And then let's say, actually, let's change that. Now that I look at it, I'm like going, wait a sec. 28 goes with 24. Oopsie, let's try that again. 28 goes with 24. And then I could say 3x minus 1 goes with the x plus 7. And then again, cross multiply. Now, keep in mind, when you do cross multiply, none of these should be x times x. So, I mean, that's going to happen. So, kind of, be careful of that. So, 3 times 24x, 3 times 24 would be 12, carry the 1. Okay, so again, variables to the left, numbers to the right, and I would have gotten, say here, 44x is equal to 220. And then divide, and you should get 5. X equals 5. Okay, so there you go. You see how those work, not too hard. Okay, so make sure I hit record. Anyways, so here you can see what I set up is I've got this one set up, and then from here what I'm trying to do is make sure once I do find X, they're asking me to find KL. So make sure you realize you have to go back and say plug it in. So I went ahead, let's go ahead and cross multiply. 10 times 6, 10 times 3, 25 times X, 25 times 11. Variables to the left, numbers to the right, and then you can divide by 35. And what do you get? You would get x is equal to 7. Say, so then that would mean, okay, so that's part of the answer, but they want you to come back here and say, do the 7 here, and say 7 times 6 is 42, plus 3 is 45, so KL is 45. Okay? Same idea here. Let's see here. These are flip-flopped. So here's my setup. Okay, so I went ahead and did 38 times 4 and got 152x. Yes, these numbers can be big, but okay, you've got a calculator. It's not a big deal. Say 26 times 38 and get 988. 60 times 2 is 120x. And then minus 60. Cross variables to the left, numbers to the right would give me 32x is equal to, let's see here, 988 minus 60. I get 928. And then I can divide by 32 to get 29. So x is equal to 29. Now again, they want you to find SR. So SR is this one right here. So I would put the 29 here and say 29 times 2 is 58 minus 1 is 57. So the final answer there is 57. Okay, so this next one, notice the scale factor is 4 to 3. Keep in mind that they want the perimeter. So you can go ahead and add up all of these. You would get 64. Now that goes with the larger triangle because, well, this is the larger triangle and you can kind of tell that. So here all you got to do is do a cross multiply and then divide. So 3 times 64 is 12. Carry the 1. 200. I have no idea what I was about to say. 252. 192. And then that would equal 4x. And then divide. So then that you would find out that the perimeter of the other one would be, excuse me, would be 48. And again, notice that it is smaller, so it should be smaller. All right, angle, side angle, side, or side to side, side. Okay, so how do I look for these? Okay, so on something like this, keep in mind, angle is the only one that can have no numbers or is working with degrees, only degrees. Side, 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 or side angle, side uses 2. Okay, notice this one, I want 2. So, like, look. First off, I've got one angle congruent in between the two sides. So that one already, like, tells me, and I see I can have 2 sides. So then I just need to see, is 21 over 28, I don't know why I chose that one, the same as 39.2 over, say, 15. Wait a second. Okay, so they tried to be a little bit tricky here, so let's do something different. Okay, I switched these around because as I looked at it, I realized that this does not go with this one. Actually, these two went together, so I kind of tried to put those together. Divide those out, or you could even multiply those straight across and see if they equal. They do, so this one is congruent by side angle side. Now, once you've proven that, keep in mind, like, how do you want that? P goes with what? P goes with triangle, make sure I have this. L goes with P, K goes with Q, and M, of course, goes with itself. So you got to make sure you match the correct ones to the ones that they need to be. Alright, let's look at this one. How could I figure out this one? Well, I've already know that this side, there's only angles. So I'm looking at maybe angle. Okay? And then I already know that if got two angles, I've got one angle already together or congruent because angle C is congruent to itself. So let's do 38 plus 48 equals, and then subtract that from 180. I get this one to be 94. Okay, well there's not going to be equal, and so then that means this one's not going to be equal, so this one is not similar. So for that one, I'm just going to say no. Alright, so let's look at the next ones. Okay, so notice on this one I've got three sides. So on this one, what I would do is try to make sure if they were side by side. So like here I would say, let's see here, 8 over 10, notice smallest with small, is that equal to 9 over 11.25? And is that equal to 12 over 15? Okay, so then I would just kind of divide those and see if those are equal. 8 over 10, I'm making sure that I did that. Again, if you're using the Inspire, just keep in mind that if you see a little decimal, make sure you put a little decimal in all these. That way you get that all of these are equal to 0.8. So by side, this is similar. And so R, Y, N, what goes with R? Let's say A. Because from this one to this one, so from here to here, so A, E, D. Just like that. Alright, so the next one, notice there are no numbers, but I do see little parallel line symbols. So first off, I know those vertical angles are congruent, and then because of those parallel, opposite are congruent, so by angle, this one is congruent. P would go with F, A would go with A, and C would go with S. And there you go. Alright, next one. This one looks like it would be side angle side because again I've got an angle congruent. Now I need to compare the sides. So 32 over 48 equals 30 over 44, and then you see if those are equal numbers, and if they are, then hey, it is similar. Yay! Okay, so let's see. So when I divided, they did not, so there I would just say no. Alright, so here's the tricky one. Okay, so make sure you subtract. 45 minus 9 is going to be, that's a good question. 45 minus 9 should be 36. Okay, so congruent there. So now I need to compare is, oh, and I guess I could add this. So that's 40 overall. So here I would say 32 over 36. Is that equal to, sorry, not 32 over 36, should have been 32 over 40 because I want those same sides from different triangles. So I'm saying small triangle, large triangle. Is that equal to 36 over 45? And if that is, then that should be the case. Let's see here, that would be 4/5, so yes it is. So this one is done by side angle side. JKN would go with triangle RVN. And there you go. Alright, so let's look at the next part. Okay, so for these next couple of problems, just kind of just cross multiplying, set them up. Notice that I did subtract 28 and 21 to get this 7. So then I can cross multiply and divide. Here again, I'm just putting these together, cross multiply, divide, variables to the left, numbers to the right. That's going to give me negative 40x equals negative 160. And then you can divide and you'll get x equals 4. So those are pretty easy. 18 and 19, same thing. I would have said 40 over x is equal to 32 over 14. Cross multiply and divide, you get 32x is equal to 560. And then you can divide and you get 17.5. Go ahead and get the decimal answers on these, I guess, just to make things easier for y'all. here I would have set that up as my cross multiply and cross multiply. So I would have had 48x minus 48 is equal to 27x plus 162. And again, variables to the left, numbers to the right. This should give you 21x is equal to 210. So x is equal to 10. Fairly simple, nothing too difficult. Okay, so on this next one, what I do is, again, one side together versus the other side. So 6 over 15. See if that's congruent to 10 over 36. And the way you check this is just cross multiply. So here 15 times 10 is 150. 6 times 36 is going to be 36, like something like 196. So it doesn't equal, say 36 carried at 3, 216. So this does not equal. So then this one's a no. These lines are not parallel. Okay. Now here I need to subtract 28 minus 64 and get 36. So I could say 36 over 28. See if that equals 20.7 over 16.1. Cross multiply again, and that one does come out to the other equal. So this one is yes. These two lines are parallel. Okay, so for these next ones, the main thing I do here is say like x over 24, trying to keep these together, is equal to 35 over 42. Cross multiply and divide. And you should get x equals 20. Here I would have said 16 over 11 is equal to 28.8 over x. Again, cross multiply and divide. And this one should get you x equals 19.8. So I'm just kind of going through those fairly quick because we're getting kind of towards the tail end. Okay, excuse me. You can see here I said 48 over 32, 7x minus 10 over 3x plus 5, cross multiplied, variables to the left, numbers to the right, and then divided, same thing. Be careful on a problem like 25 or 26. Here I subtract those two to get 16. So there I would say, and I like to do this like the bottoms, 16 over 18 versus the sides. Now 16 goes with the 40, so I'd say 40 over x, like that. That's a 40, not something else. Cross multiply, so I'd have 16x is equal to 320. Let's see, that's 32, 720. And then I can divide, and when I divide, that would give me that answer. Okay, so that would give me 45. Now this one, be more careful. X minus 9 is just x minus 9. So when you set this up, you're saying like 9 over x minus 9 is equal to 22.5 over 25. Okay, so then you cross multiply and divide. You've got, I didn't give myself much space here, 22.5x minus 202.5 is equal to 225, and then you say add, subtract, and divide, and you should get something like x equals 19. So there you go. That's it. That is all we have for this review. Most of this, again, is how well do you set up the cross multiplying. Kind of go from there. Should hopefully be easy. I'm sure y'all will do great. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all take care.